Yo, it's Elliot with Yo Elliot. You got strength questions and I've got your answers. Yo, Elliot. Today I'm creating a video for a lot of people. I've been getting a ton of questions about improving posture, and I've even answered some of them, but they keep coming back, so I want to take a deeper stab at what may be going on with people who have kyphotic posture. Now, what I'm going to describe today is quite unconventional, but it will give you food for thought, things to consider when trying to improve your physical posture. Now, we would all agree, or we can come to agree, or even consider the fact that our physical body is literally a manifestation of our thoughts, emotions, and spirit, if you will. So the way to drive that home is you can look at me and my postures and my physical presentation, and you can kind of guess what I'm thinking. Perhaps if I do this, I look down and I'm kind of shrugged over, you would assume that I've got sort of a low self-esteem, or I'm upset, or I don't feel so good about myself for some particular reason. I'm sad. If I carry myself like this, if I walk in the room and I've got my eyes up and my head up and my chest is wide open, you'd assume, hey, this guy's got a lot of confidence. He may even think he's cocky, you know, he maybe even over-exudes confidence and kind of is just brash about himself and his behavior. Those are just two of several different examples of how our physical body takes the form of our thoughts, our attitudes, our behaviors, and our spirit. So that being said, I created this chart here for you guys just to show you how that actually happens. How our brain, our big antenna, the command central, dictates what's happening down below, and how ultimately it can be creating your posture problems. Now, we can all agree, I hope again, that the brain is the center for our emotions, our thoughts, the things that we receive and give back to the atmosphere, you know, where we store knowledge, where we receive knowledge, things of that nature. That is if you could consider the bundle of nerves there, it's really the biggest bundle of nerves in our body. But you may not know this, but we have got several nerve bundles, just like the brain, throughout our entire nervous system. Now, they're not of the same magnitude. I mean, they're not attached to our eyes and our olfactory nerves. They're not as, I don't want to say not as powerful, but they're just not as prominent as the brain. But we call these different nerve bundles vortexes, nerve vortexes. I'm not making this stuff up. If you take a look at most anatomy books, you'll notice that as the nervous system makes its way down out of the brain, it branches out, but there are bundles. They branch out in bundles. So as your brain extends itself through the body, through the spinal cord, you've got these bundles of nerves. And if you look at it, it looks something like this. It looks really weird, and then it'll go down a little bit further, and then you have like another set of bundles. Then it'll go down a little bit further, another set of bundles. You've got your stomach down here, you've got a bundle. You go down here, like where your legs and your sexual organs are, you've got bundles. And then these bundles branch out into, this one goes into the arms, these ones are in your heart, this is associated with your lungs and your solar plexus. Down here is your digestive system, and down here is your legs, your sexual organs. So each one of these bundles is tied to several muscles and organs. I've used the term viscerosomatic before. Well, I'm going to take it even deeper. With regard to viscerosomatic, that simply means that we've got organs and muscles in the same nerve bundle, the same neurological loop. So let's take this one for example, the green area. That nerve vortex or nerve bundle is associated with the heart. It's also associated with the left arm, believe it or not. So when someone has a heart attack, or is going to have a heart attack, a lot of times they'll notice that their left arm is going numb. Well, what the heck does the left arm have to do with the heart? Now you understand that they're in the same nerve vortex, they're in the same nerve bundle. So as something is being disturbed with one, i.e. the heart, other parts of that vortex are affected. Now, back to the brain, which is our original nerve vortex, the biggest one. And I call it our antenna because it's where our eyes, an antenna receives information, correct? Our eyes receive information, our ears, our nose, our mouth. This is really where a lot of our senses are. We've got senses everywhere, but a good majority of it comes from here. And what we're taking in through our antenna will affect how the brain responds. So, for example, people have used this one before, so it's pretty corny, but if you start visualizing or imagining or even seeing on television a real juicy lemon, right? And you start thinking about it, emotionalize it, and then your mouth starts watering. It's because your antenna is giving you information associated with something in the environment, and your body responds. Or if you're an ex-soldier or a soldier in the military and you've seen like people blown up, or you just see things that are disturbing to you, well, that's being received by your antenna, and then it goes out into your body and you feel it in your body. People say things like, my heart hurts. Have you ever heard that? Or my heart goes out to you. What they're saying is metaphorical, but in a way, the heart actually does feel the pain associated with the emotion that the brain is creating through the stimulus in our environment. Well, that makes sense. So whatever's coming in here is being translated by our switching station. Our brain is a switching station because nothing really means anything until our brain attaches it to something, attaches it to an idea, a belief. Two people could see the same thing and have different switching stations. One person sees a dead person on the side of the road and they're devastated, and then they break down, they cry, and for days they can't talk to anyone. Another person may see that dead person and say, oh, let's pick him up and put him in a grave. We're all very different, so the way we switch information will be determined by what's going on in the brain, in the head. And that's why they say you become what you think about. And you become what you see and hear. That's why if you listen to like really crappy music all the time, like killing people and doing drugs and having sex with lots of women, well, you're gonna kind of like be that person because you're bringing that into your antenna. You understand what I'm saying? So that's really important to consider. Now, from the switching station, from the brain, the information is then passed through the spinal cord into these nerve vortexes. Like I described earlier, the heart may hurt based on something that you perceive in your environment. Well, and the muscles are also associated with it. So with regard to most of the posture that you guys are describing, kyphotic basically, hunched over, rounded shoulders, things of that nature, it's a chicken or an egg situation, and right now I'm talking about the egg, not the chicken. The chicken is, hopefully you're following my metaphors, the chicken is that those muscles are probably really tight. That's the most external. If we're using like a spectrum, this is the most external, and this is the most internal expression of what's going on. The most external expression of what's going on in your body, and like I said, it can go both ways. External could impact internal, and internal can impact external. I hope you guys are following that. So, chicken or an egg, basically the same thing. So you are probably training improperly. So you've overdeveloped your shoulders, you've overdeveloped your cervical extensors, your trapezoid, your upper abdominals. These are all muscles. Your biceps that are going to cause you that kyphotic positioning. Now, what I decided to do for you today is to go back to the egg, go deeper. We're going from the muscle back into the nerve vortexes and up into what's going on in our brains and how our thoughts and our emotions and the thoughts and emotions, our behaviors, our attitudes are causing these postural distortions. So, we can agree that the brain is the center for emotion. If we agree that that's the center for emotion, or others would argue that the heart is, but the heart is an extension of where our antenna is, right? It's coming from. Then we can also consider that perhaps as emotion is established here, it's felt in these nerve vortexes. And each nerve vortex has an affinity towards different emotions or feelings. So, for example, if you see a sexy chick and like you start like, all of a sudden you get a boner. Well, that's strange. I saw something with my eyes and now my dick's hard. Well, that's because there are the different nerve vortexes are associated with different emotions or feelings. You feel like boning right now because you just saw a sexy woman. So this all makes sense. This area here, this blue area here. Now I mentioned sex, it's down here. But there's a blue vortex up here that's associated with communication. The muscles that are the muscles that are in that neurological loop are the muscles of the neck, right in here, all up, perhaps like even into the part of the skull, the jaw, the upper shoulders, upper trapezius. So the same way that your penis is stimulated, it gets hard when you see a sexual person, is the same way that those muscles are stimulated when you are giving, or you're giving out information or blocking information, not hearing. That is also associated with the ears. So your ears are also tied into this same loop. And so is your mouth. Bang, all this right here, neck. So if you are, here's my point. If you're a person who is not being heard, you feel like, like you're always trying to get through to your dad and he won't listen to you. Shut up, kid, get out of my face. Or you've got a boss that's constantly shutting you up. You've got creative ideas. You want to express yourself. I want to do something. I want to say something. Shh, shh. We do it to children all the time. I do it to my daughters all the time. Girls talk so damn much. So I'm constantly shushing them. That creates tension in this area. And what happens is when those muscles become tight, you shrug, you extend, and you end up like this. So you begin distorting. Your body becomes distorted. It changes its form. Your penis changes form when you see something sexual. When you are not able to express yourself fully, you distort. It's also an area of protection. So if you feel like you're being attacked, just like a dog, if you notice like when a dog is being attacked, he gets very big here. We have to protect ourselves. And it's just a primal expression of our need to protect ourselves in the environment. So the shoulders come up. It's evident in all animals. I mean, if you look at the cobra, its protective mechanism is the bringing up of the neck. So we have remnants of this in our nervous system. So my point is that consider not only the stretches and exercises that you will need to do, but where in your life are you lacking your ability to express yourself creatively, or where are you not receiving information, not listening? Remember the ears. The mouth is the expression out, the ears are the expression in. Where are you not listening? Where is someone trying to get through to you? Or people always telling you, dude, you gotta stop drinking, or dude, stop smoking so much weed, or dude, your girlfriend is a bitch. Whatever it is, and you're blocking it, you're protecting yourself, you're blocking yourself from hearing those things. It's a primal response. You bring up your shoulders. Notice, pay attention the next time you're being attacked verbally, or you have to protect yourself. What happens to your shoulders? You become very tense. A lot of us experience that, and that's why this area always needs to be massaged and become very tight. Talking a lot. So that is just one nerve vortex associated with communication. I'm not going to write it all out. Communication, either receiving it or not receiving it. Remember, we'll bring it all back to the penis. Makes sense to you, right? You see something, stimulation. You experience something, stimulation in that area. So it might not just be your workouts. Maybe something going on in your life. And then we'll also talk, now there are several of these nerve vortexes, but we'll just talk about the two of them today. This one here is associated with self-esteem, personal will, power, feeling like, yes, I can. How many of us feel like, no, I can't? You know, we may fake our confidence, but a lot of times we've been beaten down so much by the people in our environment, by our parents, by our teachers, by the systems, that we collapse. We fall in right at this nerve vortex. It is placed, its origin and the muscles that are associated with it are right below the rib cage. Your solar plexus is basically the main one on there. And your solar plexus is what brings energy and life force into your body through oxygen. Notice when you are tense as well, what happens to your breathing? Do you fully extend the solar plexus and your belly expands and your lungs fill with air when you're in a tense situation or where you've been beaten down emotionally? No, that's never the case. Our breathing slows down, our breathing shortens, and we revert to a dying position, which is the falling over, the flexing over, and the sucking in of this particular area. So you can just imagine that a person, and we're all victims, I don't want to say victims, but we've all experienced and maybe currently experiencing emotional, psychological, spiritual pain that will physically distort the body. And I'm just talking about these two particular areas. So when you ask me, Elliot, hey, I want you to help me fix my posture. Well, you've seen the videos where I describe the stretches and the exercises you need to do. You've got to stretch those muscles that are associated with the tension up here. Stretch your neck, you do this, you stretch the pec minor, you stretch your biceps, your deep cervical flex, your cervical extensors. I've shown you this stuff before, guys. Search my videos. But because I hear this question so much, and because I know that the roots or the etiology of most of our postural distortions are psychological, spiritual, I felt it important to introduce or breach this topic with you here today. I hope that was helpful for all of you guys looking to improve your posture, and keep sending me your video questions. And that's it. I appreciate your viewership, and I will continue to talk to you later. Peace. Yo, Elliot.